Hello, this is Angelus. It is a very important subject we're going to talk about right now. And what I'm going to talk about basically is communication mindset. And there's a right way to communicate and there's a wrong way to communicate. Of course, everybody has the idea of what is right and what's wrong, but I'm here to let you know for business-wise, there's a proper procedure. You might even call it decorum in the communication world when it comes to professionalism. So I'm going to give you some basic hints, some ideas, and a little history perhaps, and this will make all sense near the end. And I highly recommend utilizing this technique as soon as possible if you happen to be on the other side of the communication gap where you're not communicating efficiently, effectively to your subordinates, to your family members, even to other professionals and colleagues in your industry. So we'll start with communication mindset. So what is communication? A lot of people don't know that going back centuries, communication was primarily an idea expressed from one person to another person. They did it through sound, they did it through signals, fire, dispatches, meaning whatever communication they had back then, parchment or messengers or whatever. People on horses would send one information from one tribe to another or one kingdom to another. But today it's reached more of a point of it's socialized. It's physical cues. We are all biased. That's nothing wrong. But just let you know, the minute you walk into a room, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, your mannerism, the hair color, hairstyle, your shoes, will we make a reaction or elicit a reaction by somebody else. They're either going to communicate with you or not. Just by you just walking into the room, by the way you look and appear. Everybody has their own choices to be making before they communicate with you. It's social cues. You know, are you looking straight in my eyes? Are you not looking at my eyes? You seem friendly, you don't seem friendly. Whatever the case, the first start of all communications is due to social cues, your tonality, your physicality. That said, we make the mistake, unfortunately, that we think non-social cues, what's a non-social cue platform? Social media platforms. Email is another one. Texting is yet another platform where you don't really have social cues. You really can't tell, and you can't deem 100%. You can't even use your intuition to kind of make out what might be happening on the side of the text. So, in other words, with social cues, it's even it's easy to see the difference. Like, here's an example. People say, well, communication is just by talking. Well, I'm going to say a simple statement. You're an idiot. And I really don't see why you don't get it. Now, that is just simple vocabulary. That's simple language. Sound coming out of our larynx, our mouth, in certain frequencies, and it has a symbol in our hearing, and we've been taught that this means that. So the words alone, technically, are communication, but they're not. The tonality, the way I expressed it, changes how the person who hears it perceives it. I can say the same thing like, you're an idiot. I just don't understand why you don't get it. And see, I said basically the same words, but it's going to be taken two different ways. So with texting, email, and other social media, it's very, very difficult to get those kind of inflections in and come across to the person on the other end. So I remember when I get texts, I'll text somebody, listen, bring this book with you to our next meeting, which is on the 4th. Please confirm. And they'll confirm the meeting. Yes, I'll bring the book, don't worry about it. And they go into a dialogue, like they write a novel. I know many of you have received such novels. Sometimes they get in your email. Sometimes you get it in your social medias, LinkedIn, maybe perhaps, Facebook, definitely. But, you know, you don't have time. I don't have time to listen to all this information. I don't have time to read any of that information, even if it was in audio format. So I'm like, okay, they don't understand. This is not communication. I'm not going to talk to them like this. And they expect me to talk to them back like this. No. What we've learned, what we've forgotten when it comes especially to texting, emails, and social media is we've forgotten that communication is not the same creature as transferring or sharing information. Big difference. I can share information all day long and not communicate it all to you, and vice versa. So understand, when you're texting, when you're writing, when you're emailing, you can't give those exact social cues. Even with really great emojis, you still don't get the exact meaning of your inflection. I could be in a very bad mood and come across like very happy, or vice versa. And I've noticed in some corporate environments that I've been in, people will then use the texting as almost weaponized, or in many ways to be passive aggressive. Sometimes they'll bold the letters, make the words bigger, longer, and that's their attempt of yelling. Even though they're not yelling at you to your face, they are showing you that they're yelling. Now, again, it depends, excuse me, it depends on the tonality, intent of the messenger. They might have bold letters, might have long words, it might be really fake. It looks like it's yelling, okay? But it might be just the person trying to get your attention, knowing, no, I'm not yelling at you, but this is very, very important. You got to see this. See, me expressing it that way, you got it by, okay, his tonality showed that he wasn't yelling. He was just trying to share something really he thought he's very passionate about. He wants to get me to look at it. Hopefully I'll be as passionate about it as he is. That doesn't come across. Again, we are social creatures. Our five senses is the first line of defense or offense when it comes to proper communication. When you take that away, and there's no humanness to it, no more creaturehood to it, you have to be very, very careful how you text, email, and write on social media. In fact, I always say, I say this way, it's never deletable and always subpoenable. So I tell people, in other words, don't ever text or say something. It's just like a picture. Don't say something that can come back later and bite you, put it in a public forum. Because no matter, even if you delete it on your end, doesn't mean it's deleted on their end. Somebody's server has it somewhere permanently, and they can just get it out of the ghost database whenever somebody pays them a few bucks. So you really don't want to put anything out there in text, like you wouldn't want to put a picture out there that will, put you in a bad light and maybe ruin your career in the future, or maybe ruin your career at the present. So communication is a mindset. What do I mean by that? Well, now that I told you, I gave you a little description of different types of communication and how they're used, let me tell you the best way to communicate, either via email, text, social media, or in person, especially in person. You have to have the mindset that, let's take it from a corporate point of view, and you can adapt this to family, friends, colleagues. So we're just using one example. Let's just say you work in a corporation. You're a mid-level manager or director, and that means you have people above you that you have to service and be accountable to, and you have people below you they're accountable to you and they're servicing you. Now, if we keep that mindset as that's them, this is me, and that's them above me, that seems and appears normal in all typical realistic point of views, but at some point it will develop a certain animosity, at some point an insecurity in some people, at some point a passive-aggressive attitude at work, at some point inability to perform one's duties appropriately, effectively, and efficiently the way they were hired to do. At some point, it might even lead to the firing or letting go of certain individuals because they're not pulling their weight like they used to. And when they were pulling their weight, it's because it was communicated to them in the beginning, this is your job, but at some point along the way, you started treating them as a job as opposed to a human being. And what I mean by that is very simple. The mindset of communication should be this: we are all a team. Without the subordinates, me, the manager, wouldn't have a job. And without myself, my boss wouldn't be able to do the business, wouldn't make a profit. We're all in the same boat together. We're all together. Here's a team working together for the greater good, the company's greater good, which then trickles down to our greater good. We get paid, we get bonuses, we get promotions, we go on vacation, yada, yada, yada. 4-1. So it's very important that your mindset of communication is not just sending information, pure information, and having no humanness to it. It's more than just barking out orders or being say a control freak or a taskmaster of a manager or a boss. It's more than just doing your minimal job and waiting for the clock to run out so you can go home. What it's all about is if I show my subordinates that they're important people, that they're part of me, and I'm no less, no greater than them, I'm just doing a job, and that's that of a manager, that will bolster more confidence, more camaraderie. It will also help loyalty to increase, productivity, efficiency, all goes up. And the same thing with your upper echelons. If you have a boss and you treat the boss like, respect them as a human being first, never mind just as your boss, and let them know you're there for them no matter what they need because it's for the good of the company, and never mind that they're your boss and you just want to look good to the boss and maybe you want to kiss his, keister. That's not the communication you want to push up and forward, and especially from your subordinates to you. You want to show that we are all equal, but we're doing a specific job that we were made to do or trained to do, and we were hired to do, and that's it. I'm not better, I'm not lesser than you. Now, with that kind of mindset and communication, I've been able to go into a very hostile work environment and change within a very short period of time, a few months, completely change the dynamics of the very, how would I put it, disgruntled staff, even disgruntled managers and directors. There was a lot of poor chemistry going on, a lot of gossiping, you've heard of that before, a lot of drama that was really affecting their bottom line. I was able to totally avert it by guiding them into this idea that communication is a mindset, and the mindset should always be we are all in this together, let's work together, and we will come out, all of us, equally and professionally, productively, well respected and well sought after. Because remember, a company that works very well together, the managers, the upper ups, the subordinates, the ones that work very well together, it reflects in their resume. So when the time comes and they have to leave the job for whatever reason to a new job, this is this looks great on your resume. You're a better asset for the companies because you can tell them how well you worked in that company. So basically, this is all I'm going to say today about the mindset of communication. Actually, I can write a large novel just on this subject alone, and I will be talking about it on other lives and other recordings. But I wanted to just give you the essence of that because I've run into so many clients and students lately that have been getting in trouble simply due sending out one text, one email. They meant it to come across one way and it was taken another way. And before you knew it, things exploded. That was purely preventable. So if you have any comments or any questions about what I've said in this video, please send them on the line below. Messenger me because this is on Facebook, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can with an answer. Again, this is Angelus. I thank you for coming to see me in my private space. All of you have a wonderful day, and please stay safe out there. Bye.